It's starting.
Yep, it's on. Okay, so today's lesson that we're going to learn is how to take turns talking without raising your hands. So, something that I've noticed lately is that when we work in groups, I've noticed that either one person does all the talking, or someone doesn't do any talking, or people are talking over top of each other, so they're not taking turns for talking. So that's why we're going to do this lesson today, learning how to take turns without having to raise your hand. So today we're going to practice taking turns without raising our hands. And you may have noticed that when adults have a conversation, think about when adults have had a conversation. Do they raise their hands before they talk to each other? No, they don't raise their hands before they talk to each other. And they don't use flip chips either when they talk. But today we're going to be using the flip chips to kind of give us a visual of when we've done our turn for talking. That's why you have flip chips. All right, so there's a secret, though. Adults use the secret to know when it's their turn to talk. They know the secret. Now I'm going to teach you the secret today. The secret for knowing when it's your turn to talk without raising your hands. And the secret is two parts. It has to do with your eyes, and it has to do with your ears. That's two parts of the secret. So if you look up here at the smartboard, it's got the secret up there. So, this is the secret to know, is it my turn? No need to raise your hand. You are going to first look at the people who are talking in your group. That's called making eye contact. That's the first secret. Are people looking at you? If they are looking at you, that usually means it's your turn to talk. But there's a second part. The second part of that secret is knowing to use this. All right, so you have to listen to see if it's quiet. Hold your flip chip still. So, the second part of our secret is it quiet? So, number one, are people looking at me? Am I making eye contact? And is it quiet? So, when it gets quiet, that means it's my turn to talk. All right? Make sure, though, you have an idea in your mind, but make sure that nobody else is speaking. That's how you know that it's your turn. So, what if somebody starts to talk when you talk? Well, there's a couple things you can do. So, if somebody is talking when you're talking, somebody's voice needs to go quiet. And you might say, you go ahead. Or, I'll go after you. Or you might say, you go first. So it does happen a lot where two people start talking at the same time, and it's one person's responsibility to get quieter and allow the other person to go first. So we're going to practice with our buddy. All right, so what you're going to do is turn and face your buddy. Go ahead, turn and face your buddy. You're here on the rug. Face your buddy. Let's see who we're pointing at. Let's see. Maggie and Xavier come sit right here in the seats.
Maggie, it looks like you're wearing orange and
All right, so I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to both be responsible for answering the question. When you've answered the question, you're going to kind of put your flip chip down in the center to show that you have said your part. And this is the visual that lets me see and you know that you've already spoken. It won't be your turn because then your job is to listen. So you're going to do our secret. The two parts to this task is to wait until you hear silence from your partner, and then watch for that eye contact. You'll know it's your turn when your partner is looking at you and they are quiet. If you both start at the same time, then you can say, you go first, or you go ahead, or I'll wait, you go. All right, so there's our, if you don't have an idea in your mind ready to share, should you start talking? No. We want an idea, a good idea ready to share. All right, so the first question you're going to answer with your buddy without raising your hand to talk, to know it's your turn. you're going to answer this question. What is your favorite thing to do on the weekend?
My favorite thing to do is my favorite thing to do on the weekend, on Saturdays, I love to go ice skating. My second favorite, okay, go ahead. Your second favorite thing. My second favorite thing to do on the weekend.
He was handing you the flip chip. It was magically like this.
My second favorite thing to do on the weekend is running laps around my
If you
neighborhood.
can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. So talk to me about how that went for your group. Let me hear some of your observations. Brianna, what did you notice?
That me and Savannah, we both started talking, and I waited.
Did that happen, Savannah?
Yes.
Great. So you waited for her to go ahead. Anybody else want to share? How did you know when it was your turn? Noah?
I said the Jack after you.
So you made it very obvious when it was his turn. You didn't have to guess. You just said after you, which is what a gentleman does, or a lady.
And then we kept saying
Lila?
I know to go because she was thinking or somebody this.
Ah, so you had an idea and she was thinking, so you thought that would be a good time to go. Did she listen to your idea?
Yes, but for some reason I didn't know the person.
Oh, so what could we do then? Could you say, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Could you repeat that? That would be a good one. Okay, well, it's sort of easy to have a conversation between two people. It gets more difficult when we add more people. So when we add a larger group of people, then we really have to pay attention to everybody in the group because we have more voices. We have more ideas, and more people want to share. So now I'm going to put you in a group of 4, and I'm going to ask you a question. And using your group of 4, you have to figure out, using the secret of when it's your turn, without raising your hand. So you're going to have to listen for quiet in the group and wait for some eye contact. If more than one person starts, somebody needs to get quiet and say, after you, or you go first, or I'll wait. So I'm going to put you two back there with this group. You two right here with this group. You two right there with that group. You two stand up and go over there with that group. I'm going to put you right here with this group. All right. Hi. So we're going to video this group. All right. So you are in a circle. And you have your flip chip. When you have spoken, you're going to put your flip chip in the center. Okay? Hold your flip chip in your hand. Alright, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. So, something just happened interesting that I noticed and I thought might happen. I already have a group who is trying to organize themselves by saying, you go first, and then you, and then you, and then you. However, when adults are in a group having a conversation, very rarely do they say, we're going to talk about what we did this weekend, and you go first, and then you, and then you, and then you, and then me. Okay, that's not really how conversations happen. It really is about that secret of knowing, when is it my turn, when do I have something to say, and is the group ready to listen to what I have to say? So you cannot, for this activity, plan by going around in a circle who will speak. You have to use your ears and your eyes to figure out when it is your turn. All right, the question is, what is your favorite restaurant, and tell what you like to order.
What is your favorite wanted to do that.
Favorite restaurant in Blooming. The only thing I do.
No. So I like it. Okay. I like to go to Cracker Barrel, and I like to get the carrot cake.
No, too fast.
I like to go to Walmart and steal cherries.
Miss Megan, is it Chick-fil-A of fast food?
I like to go to Cracker Barrel and get bacon and sausage.
Okay, I have two actually. So one of them is on the cruise, so I like to go and I get lobster there and seafood. And then the next one is Asian Bistro in Melbourne, and I get sushi.
I like it's really good. Okay, so here you can go another time because this one.
You can hear me clap one.
Okay, no.
You can hear me clap twice. Can I get some people some observations about was it more difficult or less difficult in a larger group?
It was less difficult, I would say.
Raise your hands and share. Lila,
I think it's less difficult
why?
because like you can like I don't really know. It's like the same.
It was the same. Okay. That means your group probably had an easy time talking. Let's see, William.
I think it's a bit more difficult because our group never got the food.
So why do you think that is?
Because there are more people.
More people. Sometimes more people means you've got more ideas and more thoughts. And you have to wait longer. You have to be more patient. I still heard some groups interrupting each other. So one person was talking, and somebody connected with what they were saying, and in the middle of them talking said, "Oh yeah, me too," and didn't even let them finish what they were saying. Hold your flip chips. All right, so for the last activity, we're going to make our group even larger. And I'm going to ask a question. So this group, you're coming back here. This group, you are making one group.
Yeah, we're making one big group.
It's gonna be a 9 group.
If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice.